My name is Christy O'Connor of Art Hustle. I would like to thank you for joining me tonight for the virtual gallery tour of Thoughts and Prayers, Another Round of Vacant Stairs, an exhibition on American gun culture, which is on view at Shishama Madawan through September 19th. And it is also up virtually on our website at arthustle.net. Tonight, the reason why I'm here and sharing with you is to show you the virtual gallery tour and to pretty much show you how to navigate the space and share the artwork in the virtual gallery as well. Not everything that is in the physical location at Shishama Madawan is also in the virtual space. So that's another reason why I just wanted to focus in on the virtual space so that every artist is represented and seen in this exhibition and highlighted, regardless of whether or not they were in the virtual space or the physical location at Shishama Madawan. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a share screen, and I'm going to show you how to get onto the website and then see the exhibition through the website so that if you're not able to make it to the physical location, you can still see the exhibition online as well. So here we go. I'm going to share the screen. And here I am on the virtual platform of Facebook Live. I'm going to come over to our website at Art Hustle. And the name of this website is arthustle.net. And so basically, when you're on the website, this is the home page, landing page, and it explains what our mission is. Art Hustle was developed in 2017 to create more exhibition spaces for artists throughout the state of New Jersey, and really to connect New Jersey artists all throughout the state with different arts locations. So we're going to go to the current exhibition. And the current exhibition is, of course, what's up right now in Shishama Madawan, New Jersey. Thoughts and Prayers, Another Round of Vacant Stairs. And this exhibition goes on through September 19th. We have over 29 participating artists, which you can see over here, all of our participating artists. And most of them have websites or Instagrams that you can directly link to on our page and find out more about each of the participating artists. And here we have a general synopsis of what this exhibition is about. So Thoughts and Prayers, Another Round of Vacant Stairs is an analysis of the American gun culture. This exhibition highlights artwork that examines the impact guns have within our nation as a symbol of power and freedom, or as an instrument to incite fear and cause harm. Firearms affect all American populations and demographics. The artwork featured in this exhibition is meant to facilitate a dialogue on the divisive iconology of guns and the power or fear they represent, as they allow some to become empowered while suppressing others. So, and another great thing about this exhibition, which I'm very proud of, is the fact that we were able to partner with Moms Demand Action, Gays Against Guns, and Unload. And for anyone interested in scheduling a tour, you could simply click on this button here, Schedule a Tour. And it takes you straight to our scheduling system where you can schedule a tour directly. We do need 48 hours in advance notice, as I am the only person giving tours there, and I need some sort of notice to facilitate my own life. We have a mask policy. You are required to wear a mask while you are visiting. I'm going to go back, and we're going to take a look at the exhibition. So Here we have the opportunity to view the exhibition in the exhibition platform titled Kunstmatrix. It is a wonderful, wonderful landing page to exhibit online artwork. So this brings us to our profile there. And we're going to take a look inside the exhibition space. So here we are inside the exhibition space, and we're just gonna click Enter Exhibition. And right over here, it gives you simple, easy guidelines on how to navigate through the space. And it varies depending on the type of device you have. If you have a phone or a tablet or a laptop, it changes how to navigate through the space. But you can zoom in and out on your phone as well, or tablet. I'm on a laptop right now. So, but there's these arrows here in the right-hand corner that allow me to go left and right, forward, and back. But one of the best parts about this space is the fact that I can click on one of the artworks and it brings me straight to it. And then, so this is just our title page, and it has our participating artists along with the title of the exhibition. And this is the detailed view. And then I can exit out of here if I choose. But I'm going to actually click on it. It's easier to then go from the next piece, each piece over and over again. So what I'm going to do is click Next, and it brings us to our first piece of artwork. This is Book of Esther by Danielle Scott. And you can click on this icon here, this little eye, and that gives you more information about each piece. One of the things I do want to mention about each work is that the dimensions are not truly correct inside of this exhibition space. And that is mostly because of the fact that in order to get the visual look that I wanted to get, I had to change the dimensions. So if you are interested in a piece of artwork, I see people are commenting, so I'm going to say hello in the comments. So I'm not the very best multitasker, so just bear with me as I write hello. So yeah, as I was saying, the dimensions are not true to size in the space itself because I wanted a visual aspect that was more pleasing. So if you are interested in a particular piece of artwork, just ask, you could email me at arthustlenewjersey@gmail.com and I could give you more specific dimensions of each piece. And I can also connect you directly with the artists so that you can purchase artwork directly through them, which would be wonderful. So, and you can even click on this little mail letter, and it asks you to request, and you fill out the form with the message, and you can find out more about each piece that way too. So anyway, this is Book of Esther by Danielle Scott. This is a mixed media assemblage and collage, and Danielle is a Newark, Jersey City-based artist, and she does primarily a lot of artwork based on, she focuses in on children and her biracial background as well. And so we're going to go to the next piece here. This is Brand New God by Dominic Sansone. And so Dominic, a lot of his work is based on this concept of mass production and the military complex, and just how militarism affects basically multiple cultures and societies in, you know, not the best ways. And this is a group of a group of cast figures bowing down to an AK-47 in a religious manner. And then this is George Loriot, schoolhouse shooting. George uses a lot of toys and figures to depict basically these more adult types of situations and topics. This is Sacrilege, Mother Emanuel, and this piece was inspired by the Mother Emanuel shooting, and this is George Loriot as well. And another thing with each of these descriptions, I try to make sure that, you know, there's either artist biographies that you can read, as well as more deeper descriptions in the artwork as well. So we're going to move on to, this is Gun Parts 2 by Tally Margolin. Tally uses a lot of recycled objects and cardboard that she rips and tears and breaks apart into creating new pieces. And this is cardboard and charcoal and acrylic. I'm also trying to keep up with comments on my phone because again, like I said, this is my first time doing a Facebook Zoom thing, so it's hard trying to multitask. This is Tally Margolin again with Gun Parts 1. The same types of materials have been used, cardboard, chocolate, cardboard and charcoal, and you know, using that same ripping and tearing to destroy to make a new piece with it. This is Margaret Rolicky, Green Guns. This is a monoprint with collage. Margaret's a Connecticut-based artist, and I met her at the 14C Art Fair in Jersey City through ProArts, and well, not through ProArts, but they were there as well. Yeah, and Margaret uses a lot of, again, toy-based themes in her work too. This is Tree of Life by Wendy Cohen. And I actually want to read this description because this was inspired by the Tree of Life shooting. And at the gallery, so this is what the piece looks like digitally. This was the easiest way for me to display this in the online gallery, but at the actual physical space, this is more of an installation, and you can see that there's fabric hanging from the ceiling, and it's installed in a very specific way to the space. Essentially, it's an on-site installation. So yeah, but this piece was made in response to the Tree of Life synagogue shooting in 2018. And so when she was making this piece, she was thinking of the symbolic and ritualistic practices known as Kriya, which is the practice of tearing. And it's a mourning custom where people would, in Jewish communities, with close relatives, they would tear clothing as a tangible symbol of their grief and anger in the face of loss. And that's what she did with this piece, is she tore and wrapped and in order to create something new. This is another piece by Dominic Sansone. This is Bad Hombres, and it's cast aluminum. As you can see, it's another fixture in his, that mass production type of theme that he does in his work. Mass production and capitalism is a very large theme in this series amongst many of the artists as well. This is E. Sherman Heyman, Recaps and Reconnaissance too. And what's interesting about this piece, you can't see it here on the virtual gallery, but when you see this piece up close and live, at the physical location, which it is installed there. Each of these tiny squares has quotations and quotes and statistics, along with the visual imagery as well, that, you know, forces you to draw in closer to really look into the details, the fine details of the work. And this piece is really meant to draw you in. It's kind of a seduction, the seductive nature of guns that a lot of people are drawn to. But then when you get closer, you see the maybe not the more repulsive aspects of it, with the statistics and the quotes that was chosen to accompany this piece. Oh, I went to previous. I'm no expert, guys. Okay, so this is Sue Eldridge Ward. This is All Through the Night. She could only cry, she could only weep. And this is nail polish and inkjet print transfer on board. And this is, there's a lot of collage work in here as well. And she likes to leave her work up to interpretation. But this piece is just incredibly, there's just something about this piece that's in a way so beautiful and violent at the same time. And I know those two words don't go together, but that's, I feel like there's really no other way to describe this piece. No Peace Could Be Found by Sue Eldridge Ward. And this is another nail polish and inkjet transfer and collage. And there's just such a graphic quality to these pieces. They're very, they resonate with you in a way that, you know, a more detailed piece of artwork might not necessarily do. It's got this quality to it that just, it just, it really does make you draw you in, I feel. So this piece, I'm going to exit out of the detail view because it's too difficult to see, because it's all white and it's a sculpture in the virtual space, and that just does not lend itself to what we need it to do. This is Brian McCormick's Good Guy with a Gun. And this is at the gallery space too. This is literally a flat wooden cutout shaped of a man with a gun. And this was in response to Jean Lapierre stating, "The only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun." So I'm going to click on it so that I can go to the next one. This is Local Artist, Children at Play. And Local Artist is an arts collective group based in Trenton, New Jersey. They are an anonymous group of people who wish not to be known. And they do guerrilla-style artwork throughout the city of Trenton, meaning that they put up stickers and signs, and essentially they put protest art throughout the city of Trenton and trying to hold their city council members accountable for poor actions or decisions they may be making not in the best interest within the community. And so this piece is one of the signs, which we have outside of the Shishama studios right now. And this is two children with bulletproof vests playing soccer. This is Square Up, No Gunfire Zone, Throw a Fair One. And this one is also outside of the studios right now. Good thing they're weatherproof. This one is RGP Crossing. Next, we have Gusty Kincaid's Trayvon Martin's Candy Gun, in parentheses, brutal attack weapon. And this piece, I'm very disappointed I did not get to see this in the real world. This is only on the virtual gallery platform, but this piece, which if you go on his website, Gusty's Gun World, you'll be able to see. This is made, this is a three-dimensional piece, and there's a glass plate on the bottom to hold it up, and it comes out from the wall much further. But this was in response to the shooting of Trayvon Martin, and so I'll read what he wrote. Early in the evening of February 26, 2012, Trayvon Martin, a 17-year-old African-American male, was running home from a convenience store with a bag of candy when he was followed by an armed neighborhood watchman who thought him suspicious. Ignoring orders received by phone from a local emergency dispatcher, the vigilante, which I do not like that word at all, closed on Mr. Martin. I think the word vigilante has been thrown around a lot in these recent weeks, and I think we need to stop using that word altogether, and thinking more about that word choice. Honestly, I think the real word for it is terrorist. Although Trayvon Martin had apparently committed no crime, the vigilante confronted him. A scuffle ensued, during which the assailant shot and killed Trayvon Martin. When police searched Mr. Martin's body a few minutes later at the crime scene, they found the bag of candy. At trial, Mr. Martin's killer was given a verdict of not guilty of both second-degree murder and manslaughter, the jury interpreting the killer's action as self-defense under Florida's Stand Your Ground law. And so these are PLA buttons. They're acrylic plastic buttons in the shape of Skittles, representing the candy. And this is the gun. And this in the background is Trayvon Martin's hand. Next, we have Church of Art, red, white, and blue. And so these are, I wonder if I can get a closer view of what this is. Doesn't pick up very well in the virtual gallery space. This is also on location at Shoshama Madawan if you wanted to see it in person. But each of these black lines going across is a line of text that reads a particular death by gun violence that that Church of Art recorded over the years, and they chose gun deaths that they really focused in on communities that are most vulnerable: people of color, people in the trans community, LGBT, and women. And so each line, there are 365, one for every day of the year, one in every 50 states that they've compiled over here. And then next to it is a QR code, which I do believe if you are on a phone or a tablet, I don't know if you can do it on your laptop, but you can click on this QR code and it will bring you to a PDF file that you can look and to see the details of each line in red, white, and blue. And the PDF is on the Church of Art website, and it's titled Every Day a Killing. Next we have Patrick Hayes, 5th grade, Back Off or Eat My Lead. And Patrick Hay, he does a lot of his work is very inspired by that nostalgic feeling, this nostalgic advertising feeling, and from like the 1970s, 1980s, whatnot. And he also looks at ways to talk about tough situations or embarrassing moments in this nostalgic sort of a way. And with this piece, he has Ronald Reagan, which I think is an important figure to be looking at in this exhibition, because in a way it all started with Reagan. And we have this Transformer, which was a popular iconic cartoon of the 1980s. And this detail of the book, I'll see if I can get closer and if I'll be able to still see it. That's as close as I can get in the virtual gallery. But this is a quote or information about Plato. We have what appears to be a movie ticket. This is another piece by George Loriot. This is called Shooting, Killing. And you can see, again, he's using children's toys, those play toys that you'd see in like a preschool classroom, spelling out words like pop and bang and guns kill. And this piece is a wall hanging piece. This is another piece by Patrick Hay. This is titled For the High School. And again, it still has that nostalgic feeling of the 1970s, children's advertisements that you would see selling toys to kids. And we have, so you can see these closer. Again, his work is at the gallery at the Shishama location too, but these are like little printouts of what almost looks like a devil riding the bull. This is Chi Bravo's protection amulet for Black Lives. And she has 3 of these protection amulets at the gallery location in Shishama, Mattawan. This is the only one that's not featured in the gallery location. The only reason it's not there is because we had space limitations. Originally, all 3 would have been in the original location, but due to restrictions with space, I opted to only have 2 at the physical location. But the protection amulets, and I'm going to read what she says about the protection amulets. Oh, she does. I did not put that part in there. So I'll just go off based off of memory, everyone. So, so the protection amulets are made for vulnerable communities, and the crosses are the protection amulet themselves, and they're made out of Legos. And there's a ring outside of each of these amulets of bullet casings, as if that there's a force field or a barrier keeping away the violence and the hatred from these vulnerable groups. And this is the protection amulet for women. Another interesting note about these bullet casings is she found these along her neighbor's property, which, that's a whole other conversation about people shooting guns on residential locations. This is Kimberly Camp's Stagecoach Mary. I really love this piece, mostly because of the fact that I had never heard of Stagecoach Mary until I saw this piece and saw Kimberly's proposal. And I was actually very upset that I had never learned about her before this exhibition. I'm almost 40 years old, and I feel like this is someone I should have learned about when I was in 3rd or 4th grade. And if I had learned about her, she probably would have been like my heroic icon growing up. But for those of you that don't know who Stagecoach Mary is, I'm going to let all of you know, because she should be a hero and an icon, and there should be movies made about her and all sorts of good things. She is a historic figure. She was born into slavery and joined a convent, and she went out west, and she became the first African-American stagecoach mail deliverer, female. She was purportedly evicted from the convent for drawing a gun on a caretaker who was assaulting her. So that's, let's talk about victim blaming there. And yeah, so she kept the gun with her to protect herself and to be able to deliver the mail in a still developing U.S. of A. And yeah, she's just a badass woman. And again, I wish I knew about her when I was growing up, because I would have probably, been making Stagecoach Mary part of my imaginary playtime efforts. This is Pam Cooper's The Playground. And this piece was inspired from Pam from the Sandy Hook shooting. And this is a large-scale paper and multimedia installation that's on view at the gallery currently. And the children, the figures, they're I would describe them as almost like paper cutout, paper dolls. That's what they're like, flat paper dolls, kind of in the reminiscent of the Dick and Jane storybooks from the 1950s. And this is very large in the gallery space, and I would recommend being able, coming to see this. She has actual hooks that she drilled into the walls where the backpacks are hanging from. There's a real brass doorknob on the wall as well. She made these benches and that bookshelf, and there are books on the bookshelf. There are 20 backpacks that she made, all of those backpacks and all of the paper. She makes all of her own paper, apica. And in the backpacks, there are 20 of them to represent the 20 children that were killed in Sandy Hook shooting. And there are, I believe, 6 books on the shelf to represent the number of teachers that were killed in that shooting as well. And the windows are made with photo transfer and printmaking techniques as well. Let's see. This is Don't Shoot by Jody Walker. Jody is, she was originally a New Jersey artist, but she's now living in Pennsylvania. She's also known as Bat Factory. She does, most of her work is usually based in like wooden carving, not carvings, but like wood cutout type of pieces. But from time to time, she does do paintings, which we have here. And this is spray paint and acrylic, and this is in response to the Hands Up, Don't Shoot Ferguson shooting. And she priced this piece at $187, which I learned from her pricing it of that piece and having a conversation with someone else is code for a shooting. So this slide here just lists our video and digital media. This landing page does not support being able to view it, but we can take a look at that at the end of going through here. This is Bang Bang Photo Op by Sabrina. This is, if you can see it. So the base is made with an industrial fan that is all decked out. And then the top of it is in the shape of a gun. And it's made with what she describes as stuffed animal skins. And again, it comes down to, there's a lot of work that features children in one way or another. I guess how gun violence affects children, and how guns can be marketed to children. And yeah, I think in the conversation, a lot of times we do focus in on children just because they are, as we see, the most innocent of the ones affected by gun violence. But that doesn't mean everyone who's been affected by gun violence shouldn't have to be. So with this piece, this is life-sized. It's larger than life, really. But you can, and this is at the gallery as well, you can literally go up to this piece and there's a handle right here that you're meant to take a photograph with it, like a photo op, like one of those Old West things at the boardwalk kind of thing, glamorizing that whole gun culture thing where it's that seductive quality again that lures some people in. Next, we have Bloodshots by Joan Sonnenfeld. This is also at the gallery space. And so this piece is basically just, it's fairly straightforward. It's people in a theater looking at violent imagery in guns. And it's that whole glorification of guns and how we glorify this imagery and we get sucked into it, and how some people become desensitized to the violence, other people find it glamorous, and it's oversaturated in our movies and cinema and television. This is another piece by Sabrina. This is titled HOGOS version XX, which, X Roman numerals is 20. So this is this one right here. Here's the hand of God. And then we have, so on the left-hand side is the hand of God. On the right-hand side is the hand of man. And the hand of God is collaged with coding from computer coding. So there's zeros and ones all over this hand. And then on the hand of man in multiple languages is a prayer. And so this piece really speaks to the whole concept of I guess, kind of creation. And are we programmed to be how we are? Are we programmed to be violent? Are we programmed to be the way we are? Or do we have more control over these impulses that so many of us are kind of drawn to? This is Chi Bravo's protection amulet for the LGBTQ community. This is Danielle Scott. Is This All We're Made Of? And this is this is all bullet casings in the shape of the figure of a man and the target. And again, Danielle really speaks to her her biracial background and raising her son and daughter, and making sure her desire for them to stay safe and keep them safe. This is another piece by Danielle Scott. This is Auctioned Souls. And this is a really interesting piece. It is made with all sorts of materials, including here we have bones. And this is also at the gallery, and you can see it up close. You can even see the marrow in the bones. And then we have another figure has hundreds of pins stuck into it, and then more bullet casings. And then we have this golden figure over here, which is also has tiny little miniature guns in it. And then we have another figure that has measuring tools all across its body. And this one speaks a lot to the idea of the auction block and how we used to, how, you know, slaves used to be measured and whatnot, and selling human bodies, black and brown bodies. This is Nanette Reynolds, Our Riddled Society. And this piece is made with it's shaped with a foam as like the base, and it's collaged with various maps, and we have the American flag peeking out, and then we have bullet holes in it, almost as if there were bullet holes that were shot into like the facade of a building. And you can see blood dripping from some of the bullet holes with the stars. And this really speaks to the conversation and the idea that even once an act of violence has occurred, it's still, the leftovers of it still remains, and that trauma remains both physically and mentally. And you know, just because an act of violence occurred, even if it was years ago, doesn't mean that the remnants of that violence isn't still there. This is Joan Sonnenfeld's gun show. And so this is one of the, I guess, I wouldn't say lighthearted, but in a way more playful pieces that we have in this you know, exhibition, in that it's a surrealist piece, and it's, you know, in the shape of a man, but it's made out of guns in this very surrealist type of pose where he's doing a song and a dance. And it's again about the gun lobbyists and how they put on this show for people of Congress to keep, you know, funding for the NRA and to keep Congress off their backs and all that, you know, political stuff that occurs with the gun lobby. So this is another piece by Gusty Kincaid. I'm going to exit the detail view so that we could see this one better. The virtual exhibition space is great, but it does have its limitations. With sculpture, for definitely. So this is Gusty Kincaid's stump speech. I should go back. There we go. And see, I'm gonna do one more. No, okay, so that's as far as it goes. So this was inspired by Donald Trump in 2016, stating, I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any votes. And so this is his reaction to Donald Trump saying that. And so we have our founding fathers, little bobblehead guys, standing over with one of them being shot. I think it might actually be George Washington, but I can't tell because it's hard to see. But this piece was made with, this is a stump that he had in his actual backyard that he, you know, took out and carved. And we have a toy pistol directed at one of our founding fathers. And, you know, I'm sure most of you know this, but for those of you that don't, stump speech is also, you know, a play on words, because when politicians are trying to talk to new potential voters and whatnot, it's called stumping, and they do their stump speech. So it's also a play on words there. So, and again, I highly recommend going on Gusty's website. He's on Gusty's Gun World. You know, he does really innovative stuff with his sculpture. This is Kristen T. Woodward, 50 Ways Liberty. And this is a combination, this is a mixed media piece. And it's mixed media on a gun target. But she, you know, this piece is, this is one of those pieces that, you know, the first time I looked at it, it was a little jarring and, you know, violent feeling, and you know, it was one of those hard pieces where you try to decide, should I accept this piece or not, just, you know, because it's so in your face and whatnot. But I decided to go for it, and here we are sharing Kristen's piece. This is George Loriot, shot dead. Oh, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to get a better view of the sculpture again. Here we go. So, and this again, it speaks to this whole idea that Black men in America are always suspect in some way or other within our media and within our law enforcement. And, you know, people justify their fear and the reactionary fear by acting violently towards Black men. So our next piece is, this is Mickey Scorekeeper 2 by Margaret Rolicky. And this is a monoprint and collage. Evening Stroll, and this has a larger title to it. Evening Stroll, Moving Target by Kathleen Hurley Leo. And again, it speaks to, you know, men of color always having a target on their back when they shouldn't have to. And this piece, the original base of the work is an actual gun target that the artist was at a shooting range and shot at, and, you know, made some shots onto the target that she saved over the years, and then decided to make this piece using it as the base. Next, we have Stacy as Pritchard, Bullet Construction. And this piece is made with, each of these bullets are ceramic, porcelain, and it's also made with, you know, the wood frame and paper. And I actually just spoke with Stacy earlier today. We did an artist interview together, and we were talking about the bullets and how her intention with the bullets was to speak on this idea of mass production and you know, the bullets are these mass-produced items of violence, or the items that create violence. But each of these bullets are so delicate when you look at them, and so fragile. Next we have Maths, and this is by Stacy as well. And she was saying this piece in particular inspired her. She was thinking of like grade school playground dynamics, and how children cluster themselves in different ways, and how, no matter, even when kids are navigating through the world, there's also this hovering sense of violence that they have to navigate through too. This is Timothy Dill's Silence in Harm's Way too. You could see the American flag in the background and the room in disarray and a gun. This is Kenichi Unichuo, Patriotism and Paranoia. And this photograph was taken at the protests back in May, where he was documenting the protests that were protesting against the stay-at-home order there. And we did an artist interview that's up on our YouTube page now. It was a really good talk. We were talking about how he had some conversations with some of these protesters, and how a lot of them were just afraid. And we were talking about how they dressed, and how, even as I guess as open as we want to be sometimes, we still have preconceived notions about people, and how it's hard, we have to figure out ways to push back that in order to have better conversations and dialogue with one another and meet common ground. This is another piece by Kenichi, and this is titled Don't Tread on Me. And what's interesting about this piece is he was telling me about how this person, as he was taking the photograph, they had just made eye contact, and it was in the midst of that eye contact that he stopped the photo. This is Leslie Ann Condon's Bullet Points. And this is a digital illustration. And each of these bullets, they have text on them. And I don't know if I can get closer. This is only in the virtual space though, this piece. Oh, there we go. And so the bullets say different things on them, including I am not a racist. Protests must remain peaceful. Democracy must be protected abroad. I was afraid for my life. And then, let's see if I can read the top one. The United States. Oh, I can't read that one, it cuts off. But basically, so Leslie and I were talking earlier today as well, and she was telling me about this piece. And so the two larger bullets and bullet casings represent the types of bullets that are used for guns that our military uses abroad. And then the two smaller ones are what police officers use. And then the fatter bullet is a rubber bullet in response to protests. And it's basically these justifications that either the military or the police have for using their weapons and using guns to quote unquote protect themselves. And they're all zooming in, firing towards this black mass, which is meant to be not necessarily a land mass, but a mass of what would be, the people that they claim to be defending themselves or the U.S. against. So our last piece is Danielle Scott's Book of Kings. We have a little boy with a backpack standing on a mound of coins. And it looks like he's in shackles. These violent, what almost appears to be like flames going through him. So that concludes the virtual exhibition tour. I highly recommend you take your time to stroll through and read the descriptions better. And again, if you're interested in learning more about a piece or getting connected directly with an artist, you can email me at arthustlenewjersey@gmail.com, or you can click on the piece and click on the envelope in the corner, and it'll bring you straight to the information. You just type in your name and your email address, and it'll go directly to my email. And I'm going to reiterate the fact that you should definitely go on the website and schedule a tour. One of the things, before I conclude, I do want to show you that here's our digital media section as well. And we have a music video by Joy on Fire. And we have, this is an animation that was made in collaboration with Cheryl Gross and Nikel Davis. This was an actual experience that Nikel had in one of her classrooms with an active shooter event. It is a very tough and emotional watch, but I highly recommend it. And it's animated by Cheryl. And then we have further below the contributions that Gays Against Guns gave us, including our wall of protest signs and a model of a human being. So one of the things Gays Against Guns does is they, during their protests and political actions, is they dress up in all white and hold a placard of a victim of gun violence, and they stand in silence. And they call that political action and protest when they dress that way as human beings, and they hold place for or space for a person. And then we also have a video. They're working on a documentary that will be released, I believe, in theaters, or will be released going through film festivals. And this is part of the documentary that they've done. This is by Paul Rowley, and it is a very beautiful video. I highly recommend you sit and take the time to watch it. I cried at least 2 or 3 times while watching this film. And then we also have another film documentary by Ty Sersley. And this one gives you a more in-depth look at how their activists work through their protest rallies and whatnot. And so the exhibition is up through September 19th. You can email me for more information at arthustlenewjersey@gmail.com. You can schedule a tour if you'd like, or feel free to leave comments on our Instagram or Facebook or anything else. So I'm just gonna look real quick to see if there's any more comments. And yeah, that's about it, everybody. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and have a great night. I will see you soon.